You are losing hundreds of dollars a year by parking your cash in a traditional savings account. Right now, the national average savings account rate is 0. 39% APY, less than 0.5%. On a $10,000 emergency fund, that's about $39 interest per year. Meanwhile, inflation is running at 3.8%. That means every year, you're losing nearly $340 in purchasing power. Your safe cash isn't safe at all. It's quietly melting away. But here's the good news. In 2026, you have better options than ever. High-yield savings accounts are paying 4% or more. Certificates of deposit (CDs) are offering competitive rates. And Treasury bills are giving you risk-free returns that often beat both, with state tax advantages to boot. If you stay until the end of this video, I'll show you exactly where to park your cash in 2026. We'll compare HYSAs, CDs, and T-bills side by side on rates, liquidity, safety, and tax treatment. I'll give you a simple decision framework to choose the right option for your situation. Whether you're saving for an emergency fund, a down payment, or just trying to earn more on your idle cash, my name is your name. And today we're making your cash work as hard as you do. Let me start with a story that will sound familiar. Last year, a viewer named Megan had $25,000 sitting in her big bank savings account. She thought it was safe. She thought she was being responsible. That account was paying 0.01% interest. She earned about $2.50 in a full year. Meanwhile, her friend opened a high-yield savings account at an online bank paying 4% APY. On the same $25,000, her friend earned $1,000. 10 minutes of work, a $997 difference. Megan told me, "I felt so stupid. I thought all savings accounts were the same. They're not." And today, I'm going to make sure you don't make the same mistake. Let's start with the bedrock. The FDIC National Average Savings Account rate sits at just 0.38% APY as of May 2026, according to the most recent FDIC data. That's what you're getting from Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, the big brick-and-mortar names you see on every street corner. Some of these banks actually pay 0.01% APY. That's a penny per $100 per year. It's not just low, it's insulting. So what are your alternatives? The three main vehicles for cash: high-yield savings accounts, certificates of deposit, and Treasury bills each offer competitive rates, FDIC or equivalent safety, and reasonable liquidity. But they are not identical. And the differences matter depending on how large your cash reserves are, how quickly you might need the money, and your tax situation. Let me introduce you to each one. Starting with the simplest, high-yield savings accounts, or HYAs, work exactly like a regular savings account. You deposit money, you earn interest. You withdraw when you need it. The only difference is the rate. As of May 2026, competitive HYSA rates range from about 3.90% all the way up to 5% APY, with most mainstream online banks clustered around 4.0% to 4.50%. The absolute top rates you can find right now include PBank Savings Account at 4.60% APY, Axos Bank at 4.21% APY with some legwork, and Go2 Bank at 4.50% APY. Some smaller credit unions offer promotional rates up to 10% on the first $1,000, but that's mostly marketing gimmicks. The biggest advantage of a high ISA for your cash, especially emergency cash, is speed. Most online banks offer same-day or next business day transfers to your linked checking account. When your car breaks down on a Friday night, that matters. ISA deposits carry FDIC ICE insurance up to $250,000 per depositor, per bank, per ownership category. Joint accounts get $500, zeros in coverage. That means your principal is protected even if the bank fails. The downside? High rates float, they follow the federal funds rate. And if rate cuts continue, your yield keeps shrinking. The Fed cut rates 3 times in late 2025, bringing the federal funds rate 4.52% down to 3.755%. HISA yields dropped accordingly. You also owe federal and state income tax on the interest earned. In high-tax states like California or New York, that can take a big bite out of your returns. Now, let's talk about certificates of deposit, CDs. A CD is a time deposit. You agree to leave your money in the bank for a fixed term, say 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, and in exchange, the bank pays you a guaranteed fixed interest rate. In 2026, top CD rates are surprisingly attractive. The highest rate you can find right now is around 4.20% APY on a 10-year CD from First National Bank of America. More usefully, a 1-year brokered CD is yielding about 3.95% APY. For 6-month terms, you're looking at 3.90% APY. These are from the May 2026 data. But here's where it gets tricky. The national average CD rates are much lower. Bankrate reports that as of May 2026, the average 1-year CD yields just 1.95% APY. The average 5-year CD yields 1.7% APY. That's a huge gap between the best rates and the national averages. So you cannot just walk into your local bank and expect a good deal. You have to shop around. You have to use online banks, brokered CDs through brokers like Fidelity or credit unions. CDs have an inverted yield curve problem right now. Since early 2023, the 1-year CD average has been higher than the 5-year CD average. That's not historically normal. Usually, longer-term CDs pay higher rates. But when investors expect rates to fall, they prefer to lock in shorter-term yields, and the yield curve inverts. In 2026, the yield curve is still inverted. That means you get about the same or even lower rates for locking up your money for 5 years as you do for 1 year. So there's very little reason to go long. Stick with shorter terms, 6 months to 1 year. The catch with CDs is the early withdrawal penalty. If you need your money before the term ends, you'll pay a penalty, typically 90 days to 270 days of interest, depending on the term length. For a 5-year CD, you could lose 270 days of interest, which is significant. Some institutions have even more draconian penalties. So before you open a CD, ask yourself, do I absolutely know that I won't need this money for the entire term? If the answer is maybe or no, a CD is not for you. Now let's talk about Treasury bills, T-bills. These are short-term debt securities issued by the U.S. government. When you buy a T-bill, you're essentially lending money to the federal government for a period of 4, 8, 13, 17, 26, or 52 weeks. In return, you earn interest. As of mid-May 2026, the 6-month T-bill yield is about 3.58% to 3.68%. The 3-month T-bill yields about 3.67%. The 4-week T-bill yields around 4.0% in early 2026. T-bills carry zero credit risk. They are backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. That makes them even safer than FDIC-insured bank deposits, because FDIC insurance has limits and relies on the Deposit Insurance Fund, while T-bills are direct obligations of the Treasury. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway now holds a record $300 billion in U.S. Treasury bills. That's a powerful endorsement. But here's the real advantage of T-bills, and it's something that most people miss. The interest you earn on Treasury bills is exempt from state and local income taxes. That's huge. If you live in a high-tax state like California, New York, New Jersey, or Oregon, you could be paying 9.13% state income tax on your HISA or CD interest. With T-bills, that state tax disappears. It doesn't matter if it's California, it's gone. That can make a T-bill with a 3.60% yield equivalent to a 4.00% ACE after state taxes, depending on your bracket. For high earners in blue states, T-bills often come out ahead even when their nominal rate is slightly lower. The liquidity of T-bills is excellent. You can buy them through Treasury Direct. Gov with as little as $100. You can also buy them through any major brokerage, Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, often with no fees. And if you need your money before maturity, you can sell T-bills on the secondary market. You might take a small price hit, but you get your money quickly. That's much more flexible than a CD. So how do you choose? Let me give you a simple decision framework based on your time horizon and your tax situation. For your emergency fund, the money you might need tomorrow, use a high-yield savings account, period. You cannot beat the liquidity. You need access within hours, not days, and you need FDIC insurance without any market risk. Put your emergency fund 3 to 6 months of expenses in an ISA earning 4% or more. Do not put it in a CD. Do not put it in T-bills with a maturity that might not align with your emergency. An emergency doesn't wait for your T-bill to mature. Yes, you can sell T-bills early, but the process takes a few days, and you might lose some principal. For true emergencies, ISA is the winner. For cash you know you won't need for 3 to 12 months. Like savings for a down payment or a vacation, compare CD rates and T-bill rates. As of May 2026, 6-month T-bills are yielding about 3.68%. One-year CDs are yielding up to 3.95% from top banks. The CD gives you a slightly higher rate, but if you live in a state with income tax, calculate the after-tax yield. For a Californian in the 9.3% state bracket, a 3.68% T-bill after state tax saves you 0.34% in taxes, making the effective yield about 4.02%, beating the CD. So run the numbers. Also consider your need for absolute certainty. A CD locks your rate. A T-bill's yield floats at auction weekly, but you can lock in your rate for the duration by holding to maturity. Both are fine. The tiebreaker is state taxes. If you're in a no-income tax state like Texas or Florida, go with the highest nominal rate. For cash you know you won't need for 1 to 5 years, but you want safety. Use a CD ladder or a T-bill ladder. A ladder means you split your money across multiple maturity dates. For example, put 25% in a 1-year CD, 25% in a 3-year CD, 25% in a 5-year CD. Each year, one CD matures. You either spend the money or roll it into a new 5-year CD. This gives you a combination of higher long-term rates and regular liquidity. Given the inverted yield curve in 2026, you might actually get the same or better rates on shorter-term CDs. So keep your ladder short, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years max. There is no benefit to going longer than 5 years right now because the yield curve is flat or inverted. Now, let me address the Fed. The Federal Reserve's interest rate decisions directly impact all of these products. As of May 2026, the federal funds rate sits at 3.50 to 3.75%, down from 5.25552% in 2024. The outlook for 2026 is mixed. Some banks, like Wells Fargo, forecast 2 quarter-point rate cuts in 2026. Others, like JP Morgan, expect the Fed to hold rates steady throughout 2026, with the next move actually being a rate hike in 2027. Goldman Sachs has pushed its forecast cuts to December 2026 and March 2027. And some analysts say rate cuts in 2026 are essentially off the table due to re-accelerating inflation. What does this mean for you? If rates are going to be cut, you want to lock in longer-term rates now before they drop. If rates are going to stay flat, you have more flexibility. No one has a crystal ball. The prudent approach is to ladder your maturities. Keep enough cash in a HSA for immediate needs. Put the rest in a mix of 6-month, 1-year, and 2-year CDs or T-bills. If rates go up, you'll have money coming due that you can reinvest at higher rates. If rates go down, you've locked in decent rates for the medium term. This is called not putting all your eggs in one basket. One more option I haven't mentioned yet: money market funds. These are mutual funds that invest in short-term debt like treasury bills, repurchase agreements, and commercial paper. As of May 2026, prime retail money market funds are yielding about 3.36% on a 7-day yield basis. Government retail funds are yielding about 3.1%. Money market funds are not FDIC insured. Instead, they are covered by SIPC up to $500,000 if the brokerage firm fails. But SIPC does not protect against a decline in the fund's value. While money market funds have a very low risk of breaking the buck, it's not zero. For amounts under $250,000, I prefer FDIC-insured HYSAs or government-guaranteed T-bills. For larger amounts, a government money market fund at a major brokerage is fine, but understand the risks. Let me give you a real-world example of how to put this all together. Meet Sarah. She's 35, earns $80,000 a year, and has built a $20,000 emergency fund. She also has $15,000 saved for a house down payment, which she plans to use in 18 months. Here's her 2026 cash parking strategy. First, she keeps $10,000 of her emergency fund in a high-yield savings account at an online bank earning 4.20% APY. That gives her instant access for true emergencies. The other $10,000 of her emergency fund goes into a 6-month CD at 3.90% APY. Why? Because she doesn't need that $10,000 in the next 6 months, and the CD gives her a guaranteed rate. When the CD matures, she'll roll it into another 6-month CD or reassess. That $10,000 in a CD earns $195 in interest over 6 months versus $0.50 in a traditional savings account. That's a free dinner every month. For her $15,000 down payment fund, she knows she won't need it for 18 months. She buys a 52-week T-bill through treasurydirect.gov at a 3.65% yield. Because she lives in California, she saves 9.3% state income tax on the interest. That boosts her after-tax yield to effectively over 4.0%, beating any CD she could find. She also puts $5,000 into an 18-month CD at 3.80% APY just to diversify. Total interest on her cash holdings in 1 year, over $1,200. That's a free round-trip flight anywhere in the country. Now, compare that to someone who leaves their $35,000 in a traditional bank savings account at 0.01% APY. They earn 3.50 cents. Sarah earns what, $200. Same safety, same liquidity for most of her funds. The difference is knowledge. That's what we're building here. Let me also mention money market funds briefly. They can be a good alternative for cash that you want to keep within your brokerage account, especially for amounts that you might use to invest on a dip. But for pure cash parking, I still prefer HYSAs and T-bills. Now, let me give you a step-by-step action plan to optimize your cash holdings in 2026, starting today. Step 1. Open a high-yield savings account. Asterisk, if you're using a big brick-and-mortar bank for your savings, stop. Go online. Choose a reputable online bank like Ally Marcus by Goldman Sachs, SoFi, American Express National Bank, or Discover. Rates change frequently, but as of May 2026, you can find accounts earning 4.00% to 4.50% APY with no fees and no minimums. Link it to your checking account. This will be your primary cash hub. It should take you 15 minutes. Do it today. Step 2. Determine your cash tiers. Separate your cash into buckets. Bucket 1. Immediate emergency money, 1 to 2 months of expenses. Keep this in your HYSA. Bucket 2. Near-term savings for goals 3 to 12 months out. Down payments, vacations, large purchases. Compare CD and T-bill rates. Use treasurydirect.gov to check T-bill auction results. Use your brokerage or online bank to check CD rates. Pick the best after-tax yield. For a 6-month horizon, either is fine. Step 3. Build a CD ladder if you have cash that you won't need for 2 to 5 years. If you have $20,000, put $5,000 in a 1-year CD, $5,000 in a 2-year CD, $5 Zuzun in a 3-year CD, and $5,000 in a 5-year CD. Each year, when a CD matures, either spend it or roll it into a new 5-year CD. This gives you a steady stream of maturing cash and captures higher long-term rates. But given the inverted yield curve in 2026, you might want to keep your ladder shorter. You can also use T-bills to build a ladder with maturities of 4, 8, 13, 26, and 52 weeks. Step 4. Use Treasury bills to minimize state taxes. If you live in a high-income tax state, like California, New York, New Jersey, Oregon, or Minnesota, prioritize T-bills over CDs for any cash that you don't need immediate access to. The state tax exemption is valuable. You can buy T-bills directly from treasurydirect.gov with as little as $100. You can also buy them through your brokerage account. The process is simple. I'll put links in the description. Step 5. Avoid the common mistakes. Mistake number 1, leaving cash in a traditional savings account at 0.01% to 0.39% APY. You are literally losing money to inflation. Mistake number 2, chasing the highest possible yield with an uninsured product. Don't put your emergency fund into crypto savings accounts or uninsured fintechs offering 8% yields. That's not savings, that's gambling. Mistake number 3, locking up all your cash in long-term CDs without an emergency buffer. Always maintain at least 1 to 2 months of expenses in a completely liquid ISA. Mistake number 4, forgetting about state taxes. If you live in a high-tax state, T-bills are your friend. Let me tell you one more story to drive this home. A viewer named James had $50 zeros in a traditional savings account at a big bank earning 0.02% APY. That's $10 per year. He followed this video's advice. He moved $10,000 to a HIS at 4.25% APY for his emergency fund. He put $20,000 into 6-month and 1-year T-bills through his brokerage. He put $20,000 into a 1-year CD at 3.95% APY. Within 1 year, he earned over $2,000 in interest. That's $2 he didn't have to work for. He told me, "I can't believe I left that money sitting there for 5 years. That's $10,000 I lost to inflation and neglect." Don't be James, be Sarah. Now, let me address the big picture. Some of you might be thinking, why bother with all this? The stock market returns 10% a year. I should just invest everything. That's a mistake. Cash serves a purpose. It's your shock absorber. It's your dry powder. It's what keeps you from selling stocks during a crash. A properly optimized cash position at 4% to 5% returns is not exciting, but it's safe, and it's far better than 0.01%. Do not chase stock market returns with your emergency fund or your down payment savings. That's how you end up delaying your home purchase for 3 years or racking up credit card debt when your car breaks down. As the legendary investor Ray Dalio says, cash is trash. But in 2026, with rates at 4% to 5%, cash is actually not trash. It's an asset class that deserves a place in your portfolio, especially for short-term goals. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't get greedy. Just get the 4% to 5% that's available to you today, legally, safely with FDIC insurance or government backing. That's the low-hanging fruit of personal finance. Here's your challenge for today. Right after this video ends, first, log into your bank account. Look at your savings account interest rate. If it's below 1% APY, you need to move. Second, open a high-yield savings account at an online bank of your choice. I'll put a list of the best rates in the description. Third, transfer your emergency fund to that ISA. Fourth, if you have cash for goals 3 to 24 months out, check treasurydirect.gov for T-bill rates and compare with CD rates from your brokerage or online bank. Choose the one that gives you the best after-tax return. Fifth, set up a CD ladder or T-bill ladder for any cash you won't need for 2 to 5 years. Comment below with your current savings account rate. I bet it's 0.01% to 0.50% for most of you. I'll reply to the first 50 comments with a personalized recommendation. And hit the like button if this video just made you money. Because it did. You're going to earn hundreds or thousands more dollars this year just by moving your cash to the right place. Subscribe and turn on notifications. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to audit your subscriptions and find $300 a month you didn't even know you were losing. You won't want to miss that one. Your cash should not be lazy. It should be working for you every single day. In 2026, you have the tools. You have the rates. Now you have the knowledge. Go park your cash where it belongs, earning 4% or more, safely, legally, and without lifting a finger after today. I'll see you in the next video.